Hello, goblins. It's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. It's a somewhat late-ish episode of this week's Pipes. This week has all gotten on top of me, and things are getting pushed back left, right and centre. But it's been a fun week. In the middle of the week, I actually went to the Birmingham Pipe Club meeting. They do it on the first Wednesday of every month. And I went to the previous one because me and Ian were trading hands with the 7-day set. But then they were doing a little pipe timed competition this week with clay pipes. So I thought that would be fun to join them for that one. And so wound up smoking this fellow. The first clay pipe I've ever smoked. In terms of comfort, I don't rate it. It's not very pleasant to smoke in that sense. But smokes well enough, I suppose. Very functional. You can understand this is a pipe. Kind of the essence of function here. There's no attempt to make it an enjoyable item to have between your teeth. It's brittle and hard, and it's not something that you can relax with, I don't think. So but an experience. This is of course how everybody used to smoke. Strikes me as a very Elizabethan object, because we'd normally see it in like period drama pieces, but of course it's a very Roman artifact, isn't it? They're always digging up clay pipes and that kind of thing. So that was that. That was great. It was great meeting those gents as well. I will be seeing them again soon, I'm sure. It's given me the idea though. I don't know if there currently exists a Warwickshire Pipe Club, but I have a strong inclination, if there isn't, to start one. I don't know how many people on the UK Pipe Club Facebook forum are local in the Warwickshire area, but I might just put out a feeler and see if there's anyone interested, because it's probably time that there's a Warwickshire Pipe Club, I think. One other thing, slightly unrelated, but very related to Eldritch stuff. There is a series coming at the end of October to Netflix, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. And I was only partly interested, casually interested, because I do like Guillermo del Toro's work. And I thought, yes, I'll give it a watch. But I learned recently, maybe last week, the stories that are going to be in it, and two of them are Lovecraft stories that I don't think have ever been adapted before, not to the screen. It's Pickman's Model and Dreams in the Witch House, which are two great little stories. Pickman's Model is a very short story, but still a great little concept. And Dreams in the Witch House is a really great piece of Lovecraftian yog-sothery. In fact, Richard Pickman, who Pickman's Model, he is the artist in Pickman's Model, goes on to appear in at least one of the story, Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, I think, as he's become something else. But yes, so he's definitely part of the Lovecraft universe, cinematic universe. Put it like that. Wouldn't that be great? All right. So, this week's pipes. This is one of my acorns. This is a chocolate and yellow sandblast. You can see the grain differentiation there. Now, to the eagle-eyed of you, you might be able to tell that the grain is running across the bowl, actually in that direction. And I thought that was kind of interesting to talk about. You can see evidence of the straight grain running this way. The ring grain running up the bowl. It's a kind of a different orientation than you would normally use. And I thought that's a good opportunity to talk about Briar a little bit. Normally, so there are sort of cross-cut blocks. They're eberchons cut into sort of L-shaped blocks. And we use them a lot. Well, I mean, I don't, but a lot of pipe makers use them a lot because they're very efficient shapes to make a lot of shapes out of, for making billiards and pokers and pots and all that kind of thing. And then there's other slight variations for making bulldogs and Rhodesians and that sort of job. I usually work from plateau cut pieces, and this is a very standard look for a plateau piece. And what's going on here is the straight grain is running along like this. The centre of the burl would be like down here somewhere. That's been cut away. And the grain is running from the centre to the rim of the piece. And so that's the way that the grain is running. And so you can see it's pretty straight there, actually. That is pretty straight. You're quite lucky to get a cut like that. Quite often it's like coming off at an angle like that, but this is like going straight up. Because this is a good piece, a good cut piece. Now, so a pipe would normally be orientated that way, and so that's why the grain is running up the bowl, and we like it like that. But it's not the only way to do it. It's not the only kind of block to work from. The other kind, it's less common, but you do get them, are these kind of shapes. I think these are called half moons. If they're not, I call them half moons for obvious reasons, although this isn't very round. But you can see centre, something like that. And the straight grain is running all around like that. And so when the pipe shape is placed on a block like this, that's why you're getting the grain running across the bowl in a very interesting way. In fact, it's more like, if you remember, like a shape like an elephant foot, which is like directly, that's exactly how the grain runs. It runs like horizontal to the bowl. I thought it was really interesting. I don't have many half moon shapes, so this orientation of grain on the bowl is not very common. So it's a nice variation. Oh, cobras is the other pipe shape where that happens. If you haven't seen many cobras, Microcrida, Yeti pipes, makes cobras reasonably frequently. So you can see what those are like. I tried to make a cobra, but it was one of the first shapes I tried to drill freehand, and it went sideways, so that never happened. But I will try it again because it's a really nice shape. And again, has that like the straight grain running across the bowl, which is a nice thing. Next shape, last shape, is a shape that I don't do very often. It's one of the rarer shapes. It is, if you've seen this before, whiskey glass. It's based on if you know the Glencairn glass shape. So it's like a fluted rim, comes in tight and then, does this. a nicely etched sandblast there. You can see the straight grain. Straight grain? I keep calling the ring grain straight grain today. The ring grain. Getting across. Again, this is like done in the chocolate and yellow that I thought kind of like, just imagining whiskey in the glass. I really wanted it to kind of like glow. That's the look I was going for. And earth and ivory stem. This is technically it's part of the new range, but I haven't advertised it as such because I'm still tweaking it. This is pretty close, I think, to the end look. As you can see, like the brown is nearly transparent, not quite, but you can just vaguely see the V of the flute of the airway being inside there. And there's like, the depth is really great. Sort of like the cream swirls in the brown, really nice. Touch of plateau on the rim. There you go. Whiskey glass. Maybe I should call it the Glencairn rather than the whiskey glass, because someone pointed out there's more than one shape of whiskey glass. But who knows? Maybe if I called it a Glencairn, I'd suddenly get a letter from somebody with copyright. Can't use that. I don't know. Probably not. All right. I think that's it for this week. Yes, it is. It is all for this week. Hopefully I'm going to get the last few skulls in the pressure pot and try and get the last tampers out and do a little post on Instagram when they're ready. Fingers crossed. I should have time this week. Should have. All right. As always, take it easy, goblins. Your loyal pipe maker.